Okay, so since this is our last week for this term, I already informed you last week that you must be here for this 3 weeks left. Okay, so our last unit for this term is develop and maintain networks and collaborative partnerships. Okay, so being a health worker or health staff, why is it important for you to know this topic? Okay, develop and maintain networks and collaborative partnerships. Why do you need to develop your network? Why you need to collaborate? Okay, why?
In order to maintain mutual relationship.
In order to maintain mutual relationship, yes. But what is the main core why you need to maintain your networks and maintain collaborative partnerships?
For the effective work.
Effective work, yes. So,
Understanding, cooperation.
if you are working in any healthcare settings, you are not alone, okay? You work as a team for you to be able to get the main and effective result for the nursing care that you are delivering to your patient. Okay. This is to identify networking and collaboration needs and opportunities, evaluating the ways in which individual and organization performance may be improved through collaboration. As I have mentioned a while ago, you work as a team. Okay? Whatever assessment you get to your patient or to your resident, then you need to take note of all those things. And you need to inform your supervisor that this is the situation of my patient now. So, assessing your patient is very important for you to be able to come up with a good nursing intervention that you need to deliver to your patient. Okay? Is this intervention that I'm going to do to my patient, is this the right thing? Is this the need of my patient? Then you also need to use your critical analysis and your critical thinking for you to be able to execute the correct nursing intervention for your resident or to your patient. Right? For example, if you found your patient on the floor, so what is the things that you need to do? Okay? Of course, the first instinct for you to do is to get up your patient to your resident. But in Australia, there's a legal predicament on that. Okay? As if you will be working as assistant in nursing, you need to inform your RN on duty that you found your patient on the floor, and the RN will be the one to assess the patient. If there's any injury, then the RN will document what transpired during the time that you have seen the patient on the floor. Okay? Because anything that you have done to your patient, if you get up your patient and the injury get worse, then you have the responsibility to answer for it. Okay? Your intention is good. Okay? When you found your patient on the floor, your intention is to get up, okay, to help the patient. But there's also a legal predicament on what you are going to do to your patient. You need to inform your RN on duty or your supervisor, and then let them assess the patient before you get up the patient and use the lifter if necessary. Okay? Next, collaboration generally refers to individuals or organizations working together to address problems and deliver outcomes that are not easily or effectively achieved by working alone. As I have mentioned a while ago, you need to work as a team. Okay? For example, you have seen your patient that your patient is having difficulty in swallowing. Okay? You need to inform your RN. And the RN will inform the speech pathologist if the resident needs to be put on, what do you call this? Who is working in the nursing home? Puree diet. Is it? If the resident is having difficulty in swallowing, the speech pathologist may refer for puree diet or thickened or soft diet for your resident to be able to nourish the good and maintain the nourishment. Okay? Question. Okay. Collaborative practice is now central to the way we work, deliver services, and produce innovations. Okay? So, before, like I'll give you an example. Before the resident be admitted in the nursing home, there's a collaboration between the family, the health team, okay? And the GP or the doctor or gerontologist will tell to the family, this is the case of your parent or your mother. So based on our assessment, this is our findings. So if the situation of your mother or your father get worse, would you want us to bring him to the hospital, or you prefer to submit your parents or your father or your mother to palliative care? Okay? There's a collaboration there. And the family will tell you if the family still want their parents to live longer, or the family is still keen for any aggressive treatment. Okay? If the situation of my father or my father gets worse, please refer or bring my father to the hospital. Okay? But if the family is already accepted what will happen if they already have an idea that the life of their parents will no longer prolong, then they will decide to put or place their parents to the palliative care. Because usually the family will ask, if the diagnosis is already there, how long that my father or my mother will live. Okay? And then the doctor will tell them, you need to prepare for 1 year. Okay? And then if the situation of your parents get worse, do you want us to bring your mother to the hospital, or you want to submit her for palliative care? Okay, that's the collaboration. Okay? So the family has an idea and aware. The resident is also aware of her conditions, and the health team in the organization is also aware that this is the case of the resident. Okay? Question. Next. Collaborative relationships are attractive to organizations because the combination of effort and expertise produces benefits greater than those achieved working alone. Okay? So I already explained it a while ago. Next. Okay. Collaborative practice involves community services organizations working together to achieve shared goals. Okay? And in the community services delivery system, collaboration is achieved when organizations develop mechanisms, structures, processes, and the skills for bringing the organizational and interpersonal differences and together arrive at outcomes that they value. So, if the resident is already in the nursing home, so what is the main objective of the nurses?
to them fulfill their needs as much as we can.
Okay, so to help the resident to maintain their activity and of daily living. Okay, to assist the resident as much as we can. Okay, to empower the residents, okay, to maintain their activity of daily living. Okay, even if the residents has already been lazy to get up, because you know when you get old you have a lot of pains that you are suffering, then what is the nurse's responsibility? We need to encourage the resident to move around so that they can maintain their activity of daily living. We need to empower them, give them recognition if they have done something that it will enhance their self-esteem. Okay, next. Okay, community service organizations generally collaborate to improve the quality or scope of service to their clients and or provide administrative or service delivery efficiencies. Okay, so if you are working in the health sector or even in the nursing home, you can see different persons working there. You have physiotherapists, you have the GP, you have the medical technologist, the pathologist. Okay, so if something is wrong, if the nurse or the GP assess the resident and they find something wrong with the patient and there is a need for blood chemistry, then you will contact the pathologist to come to get the blood chemistry of your patient. Okay, so if the resident is now on the difficulty of swallowing, and then you need to refer the resident to speech pathologist and to the nutritionist. Okay, so that they will come up a good the right nutrition that your resident is needed. Okay, so what else? Although many community sector organizations compete with other organizations for access to government and private funds, collaboration between organizations can provide important benefits to organizations and their clients or constituents. As I have mentioned in my previous lecture, I think I already mentioned it, that why you need to document how many pads are your resident is using per shift. Okay. Because if the residence has already been if the residence is already incontinence, okay, you need to document how many pads the resident is using every shift. Because each nursing home, they can get funding coming from the government to assist them for their operations. Okay, why you need to document if the resident is to assist? Okay, because if the resident can no longer mobilize themselves and there's needs for 2 persons to assist them, then the nursing home can ask funding, an additional funding for that resident. That is why documentation in the nursing home is, or even in the hospital, is very important. Especially in the nursing home, because they can ask funding coming from the government. That is why you have ACFI in your nursing home, is it? So ACFI is the major factor for the organization to get funding assistance coming from the government. If your documentation is good, then you can get more funding. But if your documentation is not really good enough, then you can only get minimal funding coming from the government. Okay? Next. Networking is about recognizing and taking advantage of valuable relationships to get things done and to achieve a goal. It is also involves working closely with other workers to be aware of potential and future needs or problems and devising strategies to address them. Okay, so for example, how many fall you have in your nursing home? Approximately. Incident of fall.
It depends on resident as well. Like we have one fall 2 weeks ago, so maybe in a month 2 or 3 falls.
Okay, so if there's an incident of fall, okay, the management will investigate what day, what time, okay, who are the nurses looking after the residents, okay, and what is the major factor why the residents had a fall, or if there's an skin injury, who are the nurses looking after this resident, why the resident received skin tear. Okay, if the problem is manual handling for the resident, then the management needs to conduct a manual handling program so that the incident of skin tear will be minimized, if not will be totally gone. Okay, and then after the training that they have given to all the staff, then they will revisit again, review. Do we still have skin tear incident? Do we still have fall incident for this month? Okay, so those are the things that they need to consider so that it will not happen again. Okay? So informal networks. Informal networks are characterized by impromptu meeting and arrangement with attendance typically occurring with mutual convenient and for a specific purpose. They often include a social element and are an opportunity for gaining personal insight into the other services and their work. Okay? Identifying and prioritizing organization and individual needs. Community service organizations do not exist in isolation. Okay? Same as in nursing service. Okay? We cannot mobilize our nursing care if we work by ourselves. Okay? You know why is it you need to have the handover before going
We're starting.
or before starting, before and after? Why you need to have a handover? So in my country we call it endorsement. Okay, we need to do the handover so that the incoming staff will have a picture what transpired to your patient before you came in. What happened to your patient before you came in. Okay? So that if you assign to that particular patient, you have an idea how to deal with your patient. Okay? Because you already have a handover that happened. What happened to your patient before you came in. And then when you handle that patient, you have an idea what you need to do. Okay? They are a part of the wider community and as such have linked with different group services and individuals within the community. To take advantage of these connections, and organizations and workers should identify the needs they have for achieving their organization's objectives, and then create or join the networks that can help them reach their goals. Okay, as you have mentioned a while ago, we need to assist and help the resident or our patient as much as we can. Okay, so we need a collaboration from the doctors who are attending your patients, from the pharmacists who are dispensing the medication to your patients, from the physiotherapists who are assessing the mobilization of your patients, and for the nutritionists who are designing the nutrition that will nourish the patient's needs. Okay, you need to think about your organization networking priorities and objectives, the need of the client group you serve, your own work role, how will particular networks meet your organization needs. Okay. So any questions with this? Okay, priorities of your organizations. To optimize the services they provide to clients, organizations, and workers must prioritize the networking activities they engage in. Both you and your organization will need to take into account time, resources, and budgetary constraints, as well as client needs. Okay, organization must consider the following issues when prioritizing network participation: their own networking needs and whether this can be met by available network. For example, a community aged care service may have a range of networks in place regarding community support, but few in regard to emerging issues such as dealing with depression, abuse, and homelessness. Services and resources that the network provides. Okay, whether the network has clear guidelines and operational principles, this may include how will meetings are conducted and whether all members are given equal opportunities to contribute. Whether the service orientation and philosophy of the network are in accord with their own. Any questions?
No, sir.
Communication networks are the formal and informal pathways through which workers are linked. Organization networks provide the means by which the communication moves through an organization and facilitates the control and coordination of individuals internally and externally. Do you have a union group in your nursing home? No? So if you will be working in as a nurse, whether you are RN or you are assistant in nursing, okay, there's an organization that you can join so that you will be protected for any assault or any case. Okay, that is, of course you just need to pay I think $10 or $20 per month. Okay, but anything's happened, there are some lawyers who will stand for your welfare. Okay, if there's a bullying in your organization, there are someone who can speak on your behalf if you are a member of the union. Okay, time allowances for workers to participate in formal networking activities such as attending meetings, preparing information, and liaising with other network members. Resources required to contribute to the network. For example, network members may be required to provide information or material resources such as stationery and office equipment. Okay. Okay, different roles that influence communication processes. Some of the most common are liaison role is an integration and linking role. It connects different groups or networks by identifying common information. Example, team leader may undertake this role in some organizations. Opinion leader role as a great deal of information and expertise on specific organizational topics. Example, this may be a specific person who has been in the organization and is very familiar with how it operates. It could also be a range of sources and who disseminates this among staff members. Linking role